Okay, Chef, tell me about the history of the Ahwahnee Kitchen.
The hotel itself is 1927, so you can just imagine how many cooks and chefs have really worked their tenure in that kitchen. It's 6,500 square feet, so it's not small, 28-foot ceilings, so it's vaulted, and so it seems it's just this huge box. And that box produces, during peak season, 1,000 covers a day. It really is a busy kitchen. During the wine holidays, we were able to switch gears. We're not as busy on the a la carte side, and we can execute these special events with a little gusto and finesse. But it's a great kitchen from a space standpoint, and the age of it does have its challenges. It's not without its challenges. But that's the uniqueness of the Ahwahnee kitchen for sure.
What are your signature items on the regular menu?
Well, signature to me means kind of back to history of the hotel. Again, you put yourself back in the 1920s, 1930s area, that whole Art Deco area of time. So for us, for me anyway, just looking through old historic cookbooks and menus of the Ahwahnee, prime rib is the true continental classic. So we do a nice prime rib. We've kind of modernized it. We have a single family farm that we do beef from in this hotel called Brandt Family, and they're down in Brawley, California. Okay. So we've taken more of a modern approach to it, not in presentation, not in cooking method or anything like that, but we've taken a sustainable approach to a classic prime rib dinner. But prime rib is really the one signature that stays and will not go away.
Right. I had the cheddar soup the other afternoon. Can you explain that one?
The cheddar cheese soup, we started a partnership with Fiscalini Farms, and they do this great, amazing 18-month-old banded cheddar in Modesto, California. But we came up with this recipe for this cheddar cheese soup, this cheddar nail soup, using all California ingredients. So a little bit of bacon, this cheddar cheese, the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale out of Chico, and we actually ended up taking it to the Today Show. It came, and that really was the launching pad for the famous cheddar cheese soup at the Ahwahnee. And it has turned into a signature item on the lunch menu for sure. I mean, it really is a big seller.
On top of the soup, I noticed there was a little drizzle. Was that the chive oil?
It's chive oil, yeah, and then a little rye crouton gives it that kind of caraway-esque flavor. Really works well.
What does it take to put on an event like we had last night?
Well, there's a lot of coordinated effort between service staff and the kitchen, of course, and then the coordination and the communication between the winemakers themselves and then us, so we can pair our food to their wine according to what they're going to pour. So we pretty much get our lineup done in April, and here we are in November, and so 7 months later, and we're finally launching it. But all of the coordination happens in those 7 months.
When you mention coordination, and you're talking about the winemakers, who chooses the winemakers?
Stu Good is our beverage manager. He has been doing it since day one of Vintners, so 29 years, and a very broad reach in the wine industry. He is kind of wine famous, world famous wine famous. So he's an excellent wine and food guru, and he just has friends that are incredible winemakers, and the veteran winemakers that come in, and then the new people. Word of mouth in the wine industry is pretty strong.
Yeah. Okay, Chef, how do you come up with the menu and the pairings?
Well, it all starts with Stu Good getting communication from the winemakers. They actually do make a small recommendation as to what the subtleties of the wine are. Is it a stainless steel Chardonnay versus an oak, et cetera, et cetera. And then they would say, okay, well, with my Chardonnay per se, pheasant goes really, really well. And so we just take that one word, pheasant, and then we will obviously expound upon it and do our take on a pheasant and what I would think would be a good Chardonnay with it. So it really, that really is the beauty of the Vintner experience, the wine and food experience here at the Ahwahnee, is the fact that we are pairing food to the wine versus the other way around in most dining experiences where you have someone pairing wine for you with the food that you've ordered. So very unique experience.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it like to work in such a historic hotel?
Advantages and disadvantages. You know, the historic, meaning everything's kind of old. So it really does take a lot of upkeep and a lot of maintenance to really love this hotel the way it should be. Sorry.
That'll be one of our bloopers. Sure. Okay, ready? What is it like to work in such a historic hotel?
It has its advantages and disadvantages. On the disadvantages side, it's a historic hotel. There's some age to it, so there are some challenges, but it really does take a lot of TLC to upkeep this hotel, to keep it in its grand place, and keep its place in history. And then the advantages are, well, things have been done one way for a long time, and it really doesn't take a whole lot of maneuvering to move this big ship, and we don't really need to move it very far off of its current path. We do a lot of things right. We do a lot of things that make sense, and with those systems in place, it makes life fairly easy.
Yeah, so you guys are just staying the course, and it's working.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Chef's Holiday and Bracebridge event?
Sure. Our other events, Vintners is the first one of the special event season at the Ahwahnee. Then we go into Bracebridge, and Bracebridge is the historic event, truly historic. Since the first Christmas at this hotel in 1927, there's been this gala pageant of sorts, basically a dinner theater, but that really isn't the right two words. So we use pageant. It is singing, dancing, and play with dialogue. And we transform the Ahwahnee dining room into a castle or a mansion's dining hall back in the early days of England. So Victorian or Elizabethan is the era of Deco.
Okay.
And so is the dialogue. It's based on Washington Irving's sketchbook.
Oh, okay.
And the Squire at Bracebridge is hosting a big dinner at Christmas time. And it's just really extraordinary here at the Ahwahnee.
Do you look forward to that?
I look forward to it. It's our own 12 days of Christmas.
Yeah.
We start on the 13th of December and we end on Christmas Day.
When do you get a break?
I get a break in February.
Yeah. That's what I hear. February's the downtime.